Hello, in this video we are looking at Bodhicaryavatara, chapter 6, verse 37. I'll read it out first and then call up the text. Yadaivam kleshavashyatvad gnantyatmanamapi priyam tadaisham parakayeshu parihara katham bhavet. I'll call up the text now. Here we are. Enlarge it. Yadaivam kleshavashyatvad gnantyatmanamapi priyam tadaisham parakayeshu parihara katham bhavet. This is yada, when, evam, in this way, and by santi the a and the e, yada evam, becomes the yadaivam. When in this way, gnanti, they kill. Remember, this is from the root han, originally meant to hit or to strike. In fact, cognate with our English word to hit, and by extension to kill. The more common meaning in later Sanskrit was to kill. It's irregular because originally it was the root appeared to have been something like gnan or gna, and that g sometimes comes back, and it's a bit irregular, this verb, because from the root han you would have expected the third person plural, they strike or they kill, to be hananti. In fact, it becomes gnanti. So just remember that it is irregular. So gnanti atmanam, they kill themselves, or they strike against themselves. As I've explained earlier, the plural, they kill or they strike against, in English we'd have to use themselves in the plural. In Sanskrit and the same in Pali, when atma is used as a reflexive pronoun, you do something to yourself, is always used in the singular, even though there are multiple people doing it, even though the verb is in the plural. So gnanti atmanam, they kill themselves. And then by santi, gnanti atmanam becomes gnanti atmanam. Api. Api means in this context even. They even kill themselves. Priyam, meaning dear, beloved. It's from the same root from which we get in Sanskrit priti, and in Pali piti, which is a joy, but originally it was the joy of friendship, the joy of being with the people that you love. It's actually cognate with our English word friend as well. So they even kill their own beloved selves. And why do they kill their own beloved selves? Kanantyatmanamapi priyam kleshavashyatvat. This is the ablative of cause. They kill themselves out of or by reason of, through the cause of, or being under the power of the kleshas, the defilements. In the notes here, I meant to take out the sandhi. Of course, this should be without sandhi. It's at. I'll change it here. Kleshavashyatvat, ablative. So it becomes, of course, kleshavashyadvad before the following voiced consonant. This word vasha, vashya, vashyatva, it's from a root. I've dealt with it in my explanatory glossary, but you'll see it quite a lot, so I'll deal with it now. Come on, bear Bear with me. Here we are. It's oops, get rid of this. The root is vash, meaning to will or to command. It's not very often used as a verb. In fact, I think it's quite rare as a verb. But you will very commonly see the noun vasha, meaning power, but specifically power over another, the ability to control, to exercise your will over another. And we have the phrase, for example, paravasha. Para meaning another, somebody else. If you are paravasha, you are other powered, or other power means that you are subject to the power and will of another. You are subjugated to the will of another. This word vasha could possibly be, and I think it's probably likely that it is, cognate actually with our English word wish, whereas the English word wish is a rather attenuated form of willing, or willing exerting power, exerting your control over another, but it has a much stronger meaning in Sanskrit. Incidentally, we see the word comes into Pali as well, paravasa, paravasa, and paravasha in Sanskrit, under the power of another. If you are acting kleshavasha, which would be kilesavaso in Pali, kilesavasa stem form. If you are kleshavasha, you are defilement powered. It means you are acting under the power of the defilements. You're not exerting your own real freedom of will. These defilements are exerting their power over you. So you can be kleshavasha or also equally kleshavashya. The words would mean essentially the same. Um, so vashya, so vasha means power, right? Paravasha, other power, meaning your power belongs to another. You're acting under the power of another. As the future passive participle of the verb vash, you have vashya, powerable, controllable, or then just controlled, and has virtually the same meaning in compound, because kleshavashya would mean exactly the same as kleshavashya, but by a different grammatical root. So vashyatva means the state of being under the power of something. I misprint here, typo. Um, so kleshavashyatva, so kleshavashya, controlled by the kleshas. Kleshavashyatva, make that adjective now into an abstract noun. It means the state of being something, just like ness, the klesha poweredness, the state of being under the power of the kleshas. So kleshavashyatvat now is the ablative of cause. So the ablative meaning by reason of the state of being controlled by the kleshas, and then that gives us where are we? Here we are. Kleshavashyatvad, by reason of being under the control of the kleshas, knantyatmanamapi priyam, they kill even their own selves dear to them, that is, so dear to them. So, when, or yada evam, tada esham, the yada and the tada correlate here. So, when, under the power of the kleshas, they even strike against or kill their own dear selves, then, or that being the case, if they're so klesha influences to kill themselves, then tada, how could they possibly have any concern for other people? Tadesham, Parakayeshu parihara katam bhavet. So let's unpack this. Tada, in that case, then, katam, how, bhavet, remember the indicative would be bhavati, this is the optative bhavet, meaning katam bhavet, how could it be? Esham, of them, parihara, care, parakayeshu, for the bodies of others, the persons of others. This hri root, meaning to take, so parihara literally means taking around, and by extension it has the meaning of protecting somebody, making a protective barrier, a protective coating around them. We have in our samatha chanting book, it's sabbe sata, may all beings be happy, may they not lose what they have gained, and attanam pariharantu, may they do a parihara, may they protect attanam, may they protect themselves. Sabbe sata attanam pariharantu. This is the same parihara, the idea of looking after, protecting, caring. If you have parihara, if you have that sense of looking after or care for others, the others towards whom you have that feeling of wanting to care goes in the locative. And here we see the locative plural, parakayeshu. So parakaya, other bodies, meaning the bodies of others. This para, meaning another, often means of another person, just as in the compound I mentioned a few moments ago. Paravasha, other power, meaning under the power of another person. And here it simply means other people's bodies, the persons of other people. So if they even api, gnanti, they strike against atmanam, themselves, priyam, dear themselves that are so dear to them, klesha vashyatvat, through being under the power of the kleshas, tada, then, in that case, or that being the case, esham, of them, katam bhavet. So this phrase, esham katam bhavet, of them, how could there be, meaning, it just means how could they have. So esham katam bhavet, of them, for them, how could there be, meaning, how could they have parihara, care, a feeling of wanting to care and protect, parakayeshu, for the persons of others. So I'll read this through again. Yadaivam kleshavashyatvad knantyatmanamapi priyam tadaisham parakayeshu pariharah katam bhavet. And once more. Yadaivam kleshavashyatvad knantyatmanamapi priyam tadaisham parakayeshu pariharah katam bhavet. And that's it on this video.